Hello, hi. Myself Pradipha here to explain with the topic disaster and its management. Let's see first what is a disaster. Disaster is defined as any unexpected and a destructive situation which results in loss of lives and property where the community need to approach an outside source for help. Okay, let's see disaster classification. Disaster can mainly classified into two. First one is natural disaster and second one is man-made disaster. First we will see what is a natural disaster. Here the natural disaster is nothing but it is a major adverse event resulting from natural process of the earth or by natural elements. The examples for natural disasters are earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, tsunamis, landslides, volcano eruptions, wildfires, etc. Okay, next we will see man-made disaster. Man-made disasters are those caused by the action of men. Okay, the examples for the man-made disasters are bioterrorism, chemical, nuclear and radiological explosions, aeroplane crashes, terrorism, bomb explosion, etc. Okay. Next, we can see regarding the disaster management process. The disaster management can be defined as all the management of resources and responsibilities during an emergency situation in order to lessen the impact in case of disaster. Disaster management can begin before the disaster occurs. Okay, can begin before the occurrence of a disaster event. The disaster planning main purpose is to be prepared and be able to manage the disaster and plan before itself that how are we going to respond. We will see what are the components in the disaster management continuum. Okay, it comprises of first one is mitigation or prevention. Next is preparedness. Next is response and last one is recovery. Let's see the first component or stage first of disaster management continuum, that is prevention or mitigation. Okay, prevention or mitigation is an emergency management term for reducing the risk to people and property from natural hazards before they occur. Okay, during this stage of cycle, protect the building and infrastructure from wind and water. Then, implementing the non-structural measures, that is land development restrictions, that means don't build one's house in a floodplain. Okay, deterring terrorists and terrorism before they strike. Okay, in case of airport, heightened inspection and improved surveillance and security operations are needed. And for the public health and agricultural surveillance and testings are needed. Okay, and participates in disaster drills and community mock disasters. And mass casualty drills or mock disasters are also needed in case of this process, that is prevention or mitigation process. Okay. Let's see the role of nurse in a disaster prevention. Okay. As a nurse, first improve the utility awareness and use of existing information systems for environmental health. And as a nurse, we have to organizing and participating. Help initiate or update the agency's disaster plan. Next is to provide educational programs and materials regarding disasters specific to the area. And as a nurse, we have to organize disaster drills. Next is to provide an updated record of vulnerable populations within the community. And as well as we have to review the individual strategies. Okay. Next, we can see the second component of a disaster management continuum, that is preparedness. Okay. The preparedness, in the name itself, it refers to the proactive planning efforts and assessment of the possible risk. Okay. Here, looking for the indicators that predict location, timing and magnitude of the future disaster. I can say the example set as preparedness plans or emergency exercises or training or warning systems. Okay. Let's see the role of the nurse in a disaster preparedness. As a nurse, we have to help, initiate or update the agency disaster plan. Okay. Provide educational programs and materials regarding disasters specific to the area. And as well as a nurse, we have to organize disaster drills. And as a nurse, we have to provide an updated record of vulnerable populations within the community. And we have to review the individual strategies. Okay, let's see the third component of a disaster management continuum is response. During response stage, the organization of activities used to address the actual event, and this is the actual disaster or emergency response. This stage mainly focuses on emergency relief, saving lives, restoring damaged systems and providing care and basic requirements. Okay. Let's see the role of the nurse in a disaster response. As a nurse, she has to act as an advocate and assess for the present situation and understand what community resources are available. Okay. As a nurse, she has to act for case finding and referring. Next, she has to participate in surveillance and assist victims to think positively and move to the future. And next, she has to participate in triaging process. Okay, let's see some more about triage. Triage, simply we can say that sorting of patient according to the priority for treatment based on medical screening. In triaging, the medical personnel categorize the patient according to the severity and give some color codes or tags. We will see the color codes one by one. First one is red color or red tag. Here red indicates immediate, means these tags are used to label those who cannot survive without immediate treatment. Then also have a chance of survival with timely and effective and as well as advanced treatment. Second one is yellow tag. This means the case who needs observation and their condition is stable for the moment and they are not in immediate danger of death. These victims needs basic hospital care but not advanced. The third tag is green tag. Green tag simply we can say as walking wounded. That means those who will need medical care at some point. And fourth one is white tag. These are given to those with minor injuries for whom a doctor's care is not required. And last one is black tag. These tags are used for the deceased or expired and for those whose injuries are so extensive that they will not be able to survive and given the care that is available. Okay, that is regarding the triage color coding. Okay, let's start with the last cycle of disaster, that is disaster recovery. It is often the last and as well as the hardest part of the disaster management continuum. Recovery means about returning to the new normal with the goal of reaching a level of organization that is near the level prior to the disaster as is possible. Here, the stabilization of the community and the return of the disaster area to its previous status. The length varies depending on extent of damage and resources available. Let's see the role of nurse in disaster recovery. As a nurse, she has to teach regarding proper hygiene, make sure immunizations records are current and make referrals to mental health professionals if needed, then be alert for environmental hazards and assess for dangers of live and dead animals and case finding and referral. Okay, thank you.